check out this awesome signed version of A Little Hatred by Joe Abercrombie I got from London. Oh, wait, that didn't happen. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up, bookworms? It's Mike here with another book haul video. I wanted to kind of wait for September's book haul video to until I got my signed copy of Joe Abercrombie's A Little Hatred. Turns out there was a problem with my order, and I'm not happy about it. It went as far as to where I've had to cancel it, and I've had to actually, through some connections, get a signed copy of the American version. I was getting the UK version with the short story from a publisher a bookstore overseas. I don't want to just openly put them on blast here, but just saying, like I said, I'm not happy, and now I have to wait probably another couple weeks before my signed copy of the American version gets here. So these things happen, but it is what it is. So I'll actually do. I'll probably just end up adding that to my October book haul list. Although I think these are going to get shorter and shorter because I am once again going to run out of bookshelf space, and you don't know what it looks like every time my wife glares at me when I walk in the door with a new bag from Half Price Books. But let's talk about it's a little smaller than last month. Like I said, last month was my birthday. You can see that video right here. That was a special occasion because I had a lot of gift cards to take care of, but books are falling over because I've taken them out of their spaces. See, let's start off with last month. I said I had gotten the first two in the Millennium Trilogy. That's the dragon tattoo books for people who don't know. I read the first one. I really enjoyed it. It's just it's a victim of the schedule right now. But I really liked The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Looking forward to continuing this series. It's one of the ones that is very highly recommended by my wife. Anything I can get from her that isn't YA is really great because she loves YA and she loves nonfiction, and that's two things I really just am not too much into, but looking forward to continue that. I never did my review for The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, so I just decided I was going to wait till I finish the trilogy and then review the trilogy as a whole. But spoiler, I really liked it. I've heard mixed things about how the series ends, but I think that's the case with just about everything these days. Obviously, one of the big ones that I was counting down to on the channel, and it's one of my most watched videos ever, and as a review of the new Stephen King, The Institutes. That review has gotten mixed comments because a lot of people, I don't want to say a lot, there were some people who said I talked too much about my love for Stephen King and not enough about the actual book. Let me tell you, the format of this channel is that I like to give a little background. If you want just quick little 4-minute reviews of books, there's a ton of booktubers out there who do that. I like to actually talk about why a book is important to me, why I am reading it, and if the author has a special place in my heart, which is very clear if you see back there. Stephen King is one of those. Again, the Institute review, you can check that out right here. Mixed feelings on that, but you have to watch the video to understand why. I don't recall the actual commenter that is always recommending the next one to me, but if he's watching still, he will be very happy to know that I finally did this. When I've been saying that I was open for recommendations, he had been recommending any Conan story to me forever, and I said, I'm trying to find the hardcover, and I found this Complete Chronicles of Conan. Very, very excited to start this because, I mean, if you guys want to really think about it, there's a quote on the back here from Stephen King. It says, Howard was the Thomas Wolfe of fantasy, and most of his Conan tales seem to almost fall over themselves in their need to get out. Before Tolkien, this guy had a living, breathing universe of books. He's basically the father of the sword and sorcery genre. This guy is so underappreciated for what he did in so little time. And he died well before his time. So I've seen the Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. I saw the one they tried to make in 2011 was terrible. I don't want to talk about it. I love Jason Momoa, but that movie was just bad. But I want to say I read some of the Marvel comics when I was growing up, and I probably read a couple of these. I couldn't tell you which one. I mean, they're really short. They're not really that long. So I'm looking forward to just diving into this because this isn't one of those where you have to read like a certain. You're not committing to 14 books or whatever. I mean, it's really not. That's one Wheel of Time book right there. And anytime I can get into a big heavy barbarian storyline, man, I'm about it. So I love the character. I love what I read when I was younger. I don't remember a lot except that Thulsa Doom looked like Skeletor. So I'm really looking forward to that. Never got into Cole the Conqueror or Red Sonja, anything like that, but I am very excited to get this. So if that commenter's still watching, you finally got me, brother. It's happening. It's happening in 2020. I can't wait. And that is actually the end of the hardcovers this month. And I know that you guys have heard me say before that I don't care for paperbacks. Well, I got that extra shelf over there now that I said, hey, I can put paperbacks on there. So I bust out all my old Star Wars books and a couple of my paperbacks I still had. And I said, there are some series that are either too expensive to get on hardcover, like Malazan was, or there's ones that I don't know if I like it that much to pay a premium price for the hardcover because, some of them out of print, they're hard to get a hold of. And if you do get them, they are in just dog shit condition. And I don't want anything that looks like it was dragged to the streets on my bookshelf. So there's a couple of series here that I've been recommended quite a bit that I went ahead and picked up. The first one is the Prince of Nothing series by R. Scott Baker. Now, these have the weirdest feedback I have heard from people. These have gone from being just absolute god mode of the fantasy genre to absolute dog shit. I have not seen a fantasy series with this great of a divide maybe ever. I mean, there are people who put it in their top 5 fantasy series ever, and there are people who put it on just like the worst thing they've ever read in their life. So I have no idea what kind of content I'm in for with this, but it definitely has my interest. I didn't know nothing about R. Scott Baker. I think he wrote a Star Wars book one time. That was the only time I even saw his name. And I might have that confused with Matthew Stover, actually, who did the Axe of Cain series. But, yeah, like I said, just the over-the-top opinions. But go on Goodreads, and you will see one that says basically it is this era's Lord of the Rings, and some that just say it is absolutely the worst thing they have ever put their eyes on. So I don't know if this guy just he took chances and people weren't ready for that, or if it just went to dog shit as the series went along. Who knows? But like I said, strong opinions either way. The next one, a set of omnibuses. I don't want to call they are paperback, but I don't know, they're big. So I don't really know if you still consider those paperback or not. And a series that I hear a lot about ever since I first discovered Joe Abercrombie, I first discovered that subgenre known as grimdark. Everyone says, well, you got to go to the father of grimdark, and that is Glenn Cook and the Black Company. This is a series I remember seeing. My brother had one of the first Black Company book on his shelf when we were kids growing up, and he said it was just too violent for him. That's what he told me when we were kids. So that sounds like my brand. So I got the complete series of that. Found them all at half-price books. Again, sometimes the stuff in there is overpriced, and sometimes I feel like they don't know what they have, because these were all going on eBay for like 20 bucks a pop, and I got them on the Memorial Day sale, or was it Labor Day? Labor Day sale for like $5 a piece. So they got the whole series for 20 bucks. Like I said, I've heard pretty much mostly good things. Some say it gets a little long in the tooth towards the end. I think any book series that goes to 10 books, you're going to start to feel that. I don't know, First Law's in book 7, and it's still awesome. If you didn't catch my First Law review right there, spoiler and non-spoiler reviews for that. That's the first time I've done that format on this channel. But yeah, the Black Company, I can't think of anything negative I've really heard about it. Said some people just said it kind of fell off the rails towards the end, but I don't know anything about it. I know that apparently it's told from just like this really strange point of view of like a writer that's traveling with this group of mercenaries. Again, that's a very vanilla description that I've heard of it. I don't know anything about it, but everyone says you love the grimdark category. Joe Abercrombie probably was very big fans of these books growing up, because it's very, very clear that Glenn Cook was doing this far before anyone else. So again, that's all you had to do to sell me. And I know it may sound weird to some people. Why are you buying all these book series if you've never read them? Because I know I'm not going to stop reading anytime soon. So yeah. I'm going to keep book collecting. It's just what I do. Now that I have allowed paperbacks back into my life, I started looking at my Star Wars books. I was like, hey, you got like 60 of them. That's not enough. Went to half-price books. I said, hey, here's something that you don't have. One that I skipped in high school was the Han Solo's The Millennium Trilogy. Really cool slipcase, too. Got this whole set for $9. Thought, hey, why not? That's a cool thing about shopping for paperbacks, man, they're dirt cheap now. They're nothing like they were when I was in high school and I was buying all these. I missed this because I did my EU video. It was really, really cool looking back on some of the stuff I had done with the EU, and then it was like there were some that I missed because I was very, very busy in high school and I didn't have time to read everything. And plus the EU books were coming out about every 3-4 months. There were so many of them that eventually I just had to skip a couple. And after the Thrawn trilogy, I kind of took a quick break. I did the New Jedi Academy, and then this came right after it. And I didn't come back in until the Thrawn duology when Timothy Zahn came back with 2 new Zahn books, or Thrawn books. So I missed this the first go around, but I did really like the Han Solo trilogy that A.C. Crispin did, which, it went into Life Debt, it went into when he worked for the Empire. It did all the things that the Solo movie should have done when Han met Chewie. And it led right up until Han walked into the Mos Eisley Cantina. I thought that was a really, really cool touch. And then the rest, of course, more Star Wars books. When I stopped reading the Star Wars EU, Fate of the Jedi had started, and I had gotten behind, and I'd only had the first 2. And by the time I had gotten to those, I had heard, well, the EU is getting canceled. It's now going to be something called Legends. They're not going to take these seriously anymore. Disney's just wiping out the canon. And it broke my heart so much. I was like, okay, well, I read through Legacy of the Force. I haven't read Fate of the Jedi yet, and I still haven't. But it's been so long now where I'm like, I would just start over and read this all in order, the way that it's supposed to be. And I started doing that with the Thrawn trilogy. Read the first 2 of those. I talked about that in that EU video. Star Wars: The Extended Universe is something that's very dear to me. Like I said, I got more into detail in that video I did about it. And I think I've got every book that I want now, because I'm not interested in the new canon at all. I'm not really interested in Disney Star Wars, period, to be honest with you. If you follow this channel at all, you know this. So that will always be my official canon. But I think I have all the books, the Star Wars books that I want now. So I don't think that will be added to. This month coming up, like I said, I've got the new Joe Abercrombie, the signed edition. Not the version I wanted, but still it's a signed edition. So I gotta take what I can get. And the new Lightbringer book, the final Lightbringer book by Brent Weeks is coming out, The Burning White, on October the 22nd. I'm actually reading Blood Mirror right now. I just finished Dr. Sleep, and I'm going to work on that review soon. I'm working on Blood Mirror, which is not a light read. It's a big old bastard too. And they're going to lead that right up into the release of The Burning White. So probably the rest of my month is going to be hung up on Lightbringer. And if I've got any extra time, I'll probably try to throw a Demon Cycle or something like that in there, because I do like those books, even though it doesn't get very much attention on the channel. So that's it this month, guys. I know if that might seem kind of light to you, but I actually think that I'm running out of ideas of stuff that I want. And I think now I'm just looking forward to some new releases. They just announced today there's going to be a new Stephen King next May. It's going to be a 4 short story novella. I'll probably do a separate video to talk about that. But that's all I got right now. I don't have anything on my list to buy next month, so it might be a really, really short book haul video. But thanks for watching, guys, and we'll talk to you soon.